Hi and welcome back to another video of jPlay. I am Marcus and today I'm starting a new interim playthrough series. And why is that interim? Because I don't have enough time to do my full playthrough series about Shadows of Brimstone. But for today it's Agents of SMERSH, which happens to be the very first game I watched by a certain guy called Rado or Richard Ham. I'm pretty sure you know him. And yeah, I think I will focus on the base game for today. I played it, let's say, quite a bit in the past. I did a training session in the meantime. Sooner or later I may do, let's say, a playthrough with the Swagman's Hopes expansion. But for now, let's focus on the base game, shall we?
A little background story. SMERSH was a counterintelligence agency formed in 1942 by the Red Army. The word SMERSH is a Russian acronym that translates into English as Death to All Spies. When the agency was dismantled in 1946, Dr. Lobo formed a terrorist group out of ex-SMERSH agents working mostly outside of the Soviet Union. Eventually the group became re-identified as SMERSH International by Western governments. Dr. Lobo is known for his tremendous ego and his infinite lust for power and world domination. His ruthlessness is well known. Be careful, agents. He relishes in his nickname Dr. Lobotomy when dealing with UN agents. Your job is to locate SMERSH headquarters and take down Dr. Lobo. And here we are. As I mentioned, I'm playing only the base game for today. I randomly chosen two agents. And first of all, we have Nika Shizuka, Agent U00, codename Snowcat. Sounds like straight from Kill Bill. Her advanced skills are seduction and adventuring. Makes sense as we are playing a two-player game. She starts with 3 UN tokens. You always get 2 extra UN tokens and she starts with 1 anyway. And on top of this, she also starts with the watch status, which is something I will most likely forget. The latest of Dr. FX designs. Before rolling dice in each one of your tests, you may look at the top villain card and either discard it or keep it on top. Could be nice, but again, I'm pretty sure I will forget that. And we can use it once to discard this card, and then we would be able to reroll all dice in a hand-to-hand test I just failed. Definitely something worth remembering, but yeah, I will forget it anyway. And our second agent is Dexter Cain, Agent J06, codename Cerberus. He's a pretty balanced guy, he says. He starts with an extra advanced skills, so he has piloting, driving, he has detection and gambling and luck. He starts with standard 2 UN ports, transport tokens, and the good thing is he can use up to 2 resolve each turn for tests. Normally that's limited to only 1. Yeah, I also designed those 2 locations for his secret mission here, so he has to go to Chicago and Ulan-Ude, whereas Nika has to go to Kolkata and Casablanca in order to fulfill her first secret mission. Our job is to find or gather as many intel tokens as possible right now. There are 2 on the board. I assigned those randomly by drawing one of those or 2 of those fate cards pretty much. And here, not sure if I was lucky or not, but they really showed up next to each other. Those tokens are of course double-sided. This is the back side. And on the other side, you will find whatever some of those tokens. Some tokens are more often in the deck, and I think those blue ones and the yellow ones and those red tokens are relatively rare in respect to those. The problem is, not very often you get the chance to have a peek under those intel tokens. You're gathering them, but you don't really actually know what you have found. So there is still some luck element by the end of the game, which is something you can mitigate by simply gathering as much as or many as possible. But in order to find the headquarter of SMERSH and Dr. Lobo, we have pretty much to increase the location intelligence track up to 4, and we do that by finding and defeating those ex-SMERSH agents up there, and then we would be allowed to move the location track ahead. Once this reaches level 4 in a 2-player game, we have found the headquarter, and then we pretty much check we would flip over all the gathered intel tokens. Again, right now we start with 0, and then we compare our results with the tokens we have found so far. So let's say Dr. Lobo in track moves down to this space, then in this case we have to have at least 2 of those weapon tokens, 2 of those walkie-talkie tech tokens, and 1 of those agent tokens. Not quite sure what this one actually is. And yeah, if we have the amount of tokens available, then we won the game. If not, we found the headquarters, but we were not able to defeat Dr. Lobo. And this is really something that happens quite a lot. So in most cases, you will be able to find the headquarters, but were not good enough to find the proper tokens, especially if you're getting into the red zones here. And this one is really tough to beat if you need 2 of those. And I believe there are only 2 or 3 in the whole pile of Intel tokens. So you really have to be very, very lucky to find those. So once Dr. Lobo makes it down here, it's really tough to beat the game. As usual, I will explain all the rules as I go, so fear not. But I guess a lot of you will know the game much better than I do. I will certainly mess up some of the rules, even though I'm playing with the 2nd edition rulebooks, which really clarifies a lot of things. And yeah, I will also play this game poorly, but I absolutely enjoy this game. But let's get started without further ado. Nika will go first. She starts in the Alps here, and my idea was to either go to Casablanca or to Kolkata, because from there she could start fulfilling her first half of her secret mission. And I think as she starts the game with 3 UN transport tokens, it seems like a waste, but I don't want to spend a resolve to move to Casablanca. So let's spend this UN transport token. And I have the feeling you get those transport tokens easier than you really get resolve, to be honest. So I can move this lady now pretty much anywhere. And of course, I will move her now to Casablanca, which means I get to flip this secret mission card. I can also discard it, but for now I want to keep it. That's the first thing that you do. Now we check for encounters. There are no Intel tokens whatsoever here in Casablanca. So yeah, let's see, or let's find out what happens. Apparently I'm not playing with the easier cards. I'm really using the Book of Encounters here for more variety, but really the game can be played with those standard encounter cards without any problems, and you can enjoy it at least 2, 3, 4 times before you really may consider moving to the actual full experience with the book. But I think as you know the game, or most of you will know the game, I will go for the full experience too. So let's draw our Africa encounter from this special book encounters now. And yeah, here we have double agents, response group D, and we have pretty much this value here, which will pretty much tell us which section to read. So we will build this together. First of all, we will check the response group here. And here are the options for this encounter there. So we can snoop around, we can charm, we can act strangely, we can act innocent, we can use force, we can use praise, and we won't be fooled. Sometimes you can derive, let's say, the tests that are required from those. Not every time, but sometimes you get a hint and say, okay, maybe, yeah, she's good at athletics, for example, so you really want to do something physical. So maybe for her it would be good to go for use force in this case. So let's do that. So we will go for 20, then we do a dot, then we read the 5, and now we have to draw a fate card, and this fate card now tells us which the 3rd part of the Book of Encounter tells us. Here we have no Intel, there were no Intel tokens on the board, so it's pretty much 25 and 3, and that's the section we have to read in the Book of Encounters. Natalia Golubova is a Soviet diplomat wishing to defect. You are dispatched to meet her and escort her to a safe house, but it seems that Agent XXY has had the same orders, and the 3 of you must travel a good distance together. You really dislike Agent XXY. You glare at each other until Natalia steps in. It is very flattering to have 2 such experienced agents fighting over me. I suggest you arm wrestle. Whoever wins can have the honor of escorting me. Test athletics, so yeah, I was right in this case, and we can path with stealth. Unfortunately, we don't have the advanced skill of stealth. We have seduction and adventuring. Not sure how I would pass this with stealth, to be honest, but yeah, I will not argue on this. And as I mentioned, she's not doing bad in respect to athletics, so she has a value of 2, which are pretty much the bonus dice she would be allowed to draw, or up to that amount. We don't get any penalties for that. It's a simple test. 1 die, which you always get to roll, is this gray yellow die here, which has some successes on it. You can heal, you can get an injury, but I think overall it's pretty much Arkham Horror kind of successes. I think there are 2 or only 1? No, there is only 1 success on it. Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's 1 success. And now we get to draw up to 2 dice from this bag here. And there are different dice in here with a, let's say, different set of probabilities in respect to successes. So here I found the green die, and the green die, I have a little list here, to be honest, is 3 successes. So overall, that's not bad, but I think I really want to pass this test. So let's draw 1 more with my athletic skill. And here I have the blue die. I think the blue die pretty much shows 2 more successes. But as I've drawn them, now I really have to roll them. So now there's no way back. So let's roll those dice. Here's the success. That's perfect. This is simply a miss. But I also have taken an injury. So this guy was really arm wrestling like crazy, it seems. So I gained my first injury, but I can take up to 4, which is kind of okay. But what's more important, we really passed the test. So let's continue reading, and apparently I'm moving those cards in order not to spoil you any of the other experience. There are a hell of a lot of events or in this book here, but still, I don't want to spoil you the experience. You and XXY lock hands, biceps bulge as you are both determined not to lose. Fortunately for you, you have a trick up your sleeve. Dr. FX's patent muscle enhancer. You shift position surreptitiously, triggering the device. Power flows through your arm and you slam XXY's hand onto the table. You gain kudos for delivering a valuable defector and, more importantly, the satisfaction of besting XXY once again. Now we get another status card, and that's the Trusted Agent. Let's have a look at this. And here it says, you are well trusted by your superiors. In all encounters that involve the director sending you a message or speaking directly with you, you may re-roll a single die if you fail the encounter. Interpret ambiguities in your favor. Awesome. Okay, and we can use it once to discard to pass a failed persuasion test. Okay, overall, not a bad status, to be honest, but again, I have to remember those 2 now. And then we have to draw our first villain card, the end of turn event here, which says captured SMERSH agent discovered to possess robotic implants. Okay, we would remove intel from Africa. We don't have any intel in Africa. We would add intel to La Paz and Krasnoyarsk in the USSR, and we would close our first airport, which is here in Nairobi, which is kind of bad news for Dexter, but he can always move to Lagos to catch a plane. So let's add those intel tokens. 1 goes to La Paz. This is really a bummer, all in the Americas region. And the second one goes here to Krasnoyarsk. Then it's Dexter, and I think I really have to start moving to the Americas region for now, because there's also a thing like intel overflow. If there are too many intel tokens on the board, we will remove all of them. This is really something that you don't want to happen, but I don't make it there unless I'm spending yet another UN transport token, and right now I'm not yet willing to do that. So instead, I will move him now to Lagos, and I really hope that Lagos will not get closed at the end of this round. So there are no intel tokens again. So we will draw yet another Africa encounter there. And this is the chase, which is response group A. We have 39 here. And for him, it doesn't really matter because all of his basic skill are at 1. So he could escape, he could confront. Of course, I could have a look at his advanced skills like piloting, driving, detection, luck, and gambling. So maybe escape could be something that could match one of his tokens. So let's go for response group, response A1 here, the escape. So it's 39.1. Let's draw our fate card. It's still without any intel, so it's 139.11 it is. And here we are. You were the guest of a particularly violent warlord named Akulu when someone at the dinner table outed you as a spy. So you have been running for days, chased by a helicopter and jeeps, and without your shoes. It is a miracle you have stayed ahead so long. You are heading for the border with a neighboring country that will offer you protection, and you estimate there are another 10 or so miles to go. Test athletics +2. Okay, plus is okay, but we could pass with adventure. Unfortunately, that's none of his advanced skill, so we cannot auto pass, but a test athletics +2 should be something we should be able to achieve. Yeah, go for it. So again, we get our yellow die, and now as it is a +2, I can draw up to 3 dice. So let's see how well we're doing, and that's not a good one, to be honest. So we definitely want to continue drawing here. That's the black die. I think that's the best die. It has a lot of injuries on it, but anyway, I think I should be able to make it with that. I will stop drawing dice now. So let's roll those guys. Yes, 2 successes. Awesome. That was good enough. And even the pass effect is not a great one. You remain running low and fast. Eventually you cross the border to safety where you collapse in agony. Up any one skill, that's cool, but we gain 1 injury. I take that. So here's the injury. And I think, yeah, does it matter? I think we will go up with Spy Graph to keep it a little bit thematic for Dexter, or codename Cerberus. Okie dokie, end of turn. Let's draw our villain end of turn event card. And wow, the crown jewels have been stolen. Violence erupts in Trafalgar Square. We would add intel to Stockholm, so it seems the thieves made it to Sweden. And yeah, the airport in Reykjavik will close. So let's close the airport first before we forget. And then we would add an intel token to Stockholm. Okay, at least something in Europe now, which is kind of okay. Yeah, that was already the very first round. I think I will do one more in this first video. So let's move over or back to Nika Shizuka. And my plan was to go to Kolkata to fulfill her secret mission. But I think with 4 intel or 5 intel now on the board, I think we really have to start removing those, because then we would have an intel overflow, which is something we don't want to see. She starts her round on an airport, so she can use it to fly to any other non-closed airport. And I think this is what she wants to do. She will, I think, yeah, let's fly her to Miami, because there is an intel token now waiting for her. And now she has a choice. She can leave the token here for an easier, in most cases easier encounter there, but I think that's not what I want to do. Then I can move this intel token to our intel pool, but I still keep it face down, or I can exchange this intel token, so pretty much move it back to the reserve in order to spawn our first location token. And those location tokens pretty much show the faces of those ex-SMERSH agent, which I have to defeat in order to increase the location intelligence track. Yeah, in order to find the headquarters. I think for now, let's start putting those intel token into the intel pool. We really have to start doing this. And now we will move into the encounter phase, but we have to remember that there was an intel token there. So let's see what card we draw. And that's this message will self-destruct. Okay, we have encounter group 10, response group C, which means again we can choose one of those responses here. What can we go? We have adventuring and we have seduction. But I still think, no, let's have some fun. Maybe we can use our seduction advanced skill for now. So that's 10, 6, and 4 here, because we had an intel token waiting for it. So 10, 6, 4 it is. Again, we were not lucky here. The mission tape arrived to your hotel room under a covered dinner tray. You play it on a reel-to-reel found in your closet. The man in the next room is Dr. Figglehorn III, a well-known astrophysicist. He will soon depart by plane for a rendezvous with a SMERSH operative. Stop him catching his flight, but be careful. He is known to carry a range of synthetic drugs for use on those who cross him. Do not approach him directly. You decide to approach him directly. We have to test deception -2. Wow, that's tough because our deception is a 0, so we will not be able to pass this test. Of course, we can still roll the yellow die, but we don't get any extra die. Or we could go for Spy Graph, but then we would need 2 successes. We would pass with detection or disguise. We have neither of those. Our Spy Graph is at 1, but we need 2 successes in order to get that. So we really have to be extremely lucky to make it here. But we can still use a resolve. No, let's go for spycraft because we could roll 2 dice. On the other hand, yeah, let's go for spycraft. So again, we get our yellow die. Let's draw 1 die for spycraft. It's really not more. It's the black die. Okay, that's something. Now I can make another choice. I could use 1 resolve in order to draw yet another die, or I could use this to re-roll 1 die. And I think in this case, I want to draw a new die, it seems. Yeah, let's go for it. I think I want a 3rd die. With 2 successes, you really want dice. That's important. Okay, that's the red die, which is also, wow, that's, I think, the best die in the game. So, okay, I think we have a slight chance here rolling 2 of those pistols. So let's see. And yes, awesome. Oh, yeah. You are great, Agent Shizuka. We were able to pretty much, yeah, approach him directly. And it's a great result, but yeah, not good enough. You knock on his door and introduce yourself, making sure you're wearing gloves as you shake your hands. You tell him that things have gone missing from your room and warn him to be careful of thieves in the hotel. He insists you have a drink with him and you watch as he slips in a sedative. You switch glasses when he isn't looking. Flip up 2 intel in the pool. That's such a cool reward, but we only have 1 intel in the pool. But I will flip it anyway. That's a yellow one, and I think the yellows are also relatively sparse. There are only 4 of those, so I think overall that's okay, I guess. So that was definitely a good find, but would be way cool, of course, to let's say flip up to 2 tokens, of course. And I must not forget to reduce my resolve here accordingly. Awesome encounter still. And then we draw our end of turn event here, which says Japan begins process of rebuilding military despite USA objection. Okay, we would remove intel from Europe. Okay, that's a bummer. Let's do that first, and then we would add intel to Yekaterinburg in the USSR, and we would close the current city. Ah, that's also a bummer, because she was right next to an airport in Miami. This really sucks. Let's remove the intel from Europe. That's all intel from Europe. Luckily, we only had 1 there. And then we will add 1 here to Yekaterinburg. So I think it would be a good idea to send someone here to the Soviet Republic up there. Well, it's Russia now, pretty much. And yeah, to go over this, I think it's the Trans-Siberian Express pretty much, because there are 2 tokens waiting there for us. That's not bad at all, but yeah, let's move over to Cerberus here, and I think he wants to use the airplane to travel from Lagos to La Paz, because there's another intel token waiting for us there. I think I will grab this intel token as well. You really want to start removing those as soon as possible. So let's see what the encounter is. Oh, and here we have call to action, which says we have to roll a d6, and then we would conduct a battle with Mr. Darling, Mr. Big, with Pierre, with Mr. Big again, or we would have to make a gamble with the following results. Or we could also, before rolling the d6, we may elect to take 1 injury to escape and immediately draw a new encounter card. But I think, no, why not? They're all pretty weak right now. So let's roll die. That's 4. 4 means we have to conduct a battle with Pierre, who is still at level 1 here, and we would have to test spycraft to avoid Pierre's trap. And the good thing is we just increased spycraft for Dexter Cain. How cool is that? So yeah, let's totally go for it. So again, we get a yellow die. We can now draw up to 2 die. So let's see what we get. That's the red die. And I think, I'm okay with 2 dice. I don't want to have any more injuries. So yeah, let's roll those dice. And I'm failing. I'm failing. Are you kidding me? Okay, I will now spend 1 resolve in order to re-roll a single die. And apparently I want to re-roll the red die again, which is more likely to get... Yes! Oh, wow, that was really close. Good thing is he could do that twice. His special ability allows this. And yeah, we would now basically upgrade Pierre, so he just gotten better, so he's really learning from his mistakes. And I just noticed you couldn't see that, but we still passed, so we would gain 1 intel. Awesome! So let's grab any one of those tokens and put it right into our intel pool. Of course, we also keep it face down. Awesome, that was great. The problem with those call to arms encounters, they do not allow us to move or increase the location intelligence track here. This is really a bummer. But yeah, we had to face him anyway. Okie dokie, let's draw our end of turn event. And here we see ex-KGB seek UN protection. Remove intel from Asia. Oh no! Oh, that's bad. Okay, here goes my plan to travel with the Trans-Siberia Express there. Then we would have to add 1 token to Paris. Okay, that's at least something. And we add 1 to Ulan-Ude again. Okay, that's next to an airport. Maybe that's not bad. And yeah, Dexter Cain needs to go there. Awesome. Okay, that was actually not bad at all, but we still have to close an airport. That's Ozono down there next to Patagonia. Okay, those were 2 full rounds of Agents of SMERSH. I think overall we are not doing really bad. So we were able to gather 3 intel tokens. Now I really have to start bringing location tokens back to the board here in order to challenge those guys as well. So I have to really defeat them 4 times in order to find the headquarters. So really have to start thinking about that too. And yeah, maybe if you have any ideas about what I should be doing next, let me know. Share them in your whatever comments on YouTube, wherever you find my video. And yeah, hope to see you soon in one of my other videos. And until then, bye bye.